me just knock that baby off. Right then, so it's now been 3 weeks on this 80 grit. This is the big one. So I'll get this home. Now we checked them last week, if you remember, and they weren't ready, not by a long chalk actually. So this week I'm expecting at least some, or I'm hoping at least some, are going to be ready for moving on to the next stage. But a lot of them probably won't. Let's find out. I'm trying not to get this juice all over me, because these lids are a swine. Might sound like I'm having a baby in the background, but I'm not struggling with this lid. Come on, baby. Ooh. Ooh. Ah, chocolate. Let's have a look then. Right then, let's have a little dribble. Ooh, look at them. What a transformation that is, isn't it? Zoom in a bit for you. Ooh, that's nice, isn't it? Fairly smooth as that. I mean, I'm feeling around. You can't always see any cracks or rough bits. But you can usually feel them with your fingers. So I'm just kind of roll. That one's ready. Ready to move on. Quartz. Not ready. See, there's still some nicks in like that. That's got to come out. That's the one that's made out of thousands of little fossils. They're little snails. And of course this is a section through the snail, so you're only seeing a circle. But they're actually little snails. Another one. That's nice, look at that. That's lovely, isn't it? That's an agate. Still not ready though. So that one's pitted. You see, it's all pitted. And that means there's a soft mineral in there. So that'll probably never come right. That's a nice colour. Smokey Quartz. See some banding in there as well. Another one of them nice agates. This one's got like crystals in the centre of it. These are the Botswana agates. Looks like a bit of bloodstone, something. Ooh, look at that. That looks like a piece of picture stone, picture Jasper. What else I got here? That's a strange structure. It's a little circle. They do look like toffees, don't they? A little bit chompy though. Right, well what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a full float through all these and pick out the odd ones that I think are ready for moving on. And then they will be going on in a glass, just to see a fracture there, look, just to keep them wet. These seem to be the ones that's gone the best. These all feel smooth. Yeah, lovely, aren't they? Lovely colours. Well anyway, I shall sift through those, pick them out and put them in a glass, the ones that are ready. The rest that's not ready like this one will go back in for yet another week. And that's it for the drop-in video for lunchtime. This video will also be uploaded as a separate video, which will continue from this point, where I take a look at the other two barrels that we've got on. One of them is in polish, which is soda light, one of my favourites, and the other one is mixed quartz, I think. They're also on 80 grit, because I put them back on 80 grit because I wasn't satisfied with them last week. Right, so I'll catch you later. In the meantime, back to the main video. Right, so I've put the rocks back and I've put just a few extra rocks in just to make up the difference again. And we're going to put the grit back in, fresh batch of grit, a couple of tablespoons of that. Like so. And I'm going to put some borax in there just to keep things a little bit cleaner. Like that. And finally, water. Now there. And we can then get the lid back on this baby and set it off rolling. So it'll be then, by the time we come to next Saturday, these particular stones will have been on for 4 weeks. And I'll show you the ones that I've actually got ready so far. Now these are the ones that I've just extracted from the tumbler. And this is basically what we've got ready so far. These are now all ready for the next stage. There's no chips, cracks or anything like that. It's also what's in there. They'll be delicious. So they'll go on to the next polish as soon as I've got enough rocks in this to fill one of these little tubs. Right, so I'm going to now clear away this area and then I'll get on to the next barrel, which is the 1.5 pound mixed quartz that we put on. So I'll do that now. Right, so it's now time to have a look at this mixed batch of, I think these were quartzes, weren't they? And this is a bit of an anomaly, this batch, because I did them a week before these, or a few days at least, and I thought they were ready, so I moved them onto, I think it was 220 grit, something like that, 400 maybe. And I looked at them last week and I wasn't satisfied, so I've put them back into 80 grit. So these have now been on 80 grit for, again, 3 weeks and a bit. But they did have a week on 200, so I don't suppose that counts, does it? I'm going to spill this everywhere, I know I am. And when you get it on floor, it's a cow to wipe up. Oh, here we go. Got some interesting patterns going on in that slurry, look. Look at that. It's like dancing on surface, isn't it? Anyway. The reveal. Well, I'm hoping these are ready now for moving on. Still a little bit there, look, isn't there? There. And there. I think I screwed it by giving it a week in 400 too early. That's nice. Come on. Put this jug down. You see in there, fibres. What is that? That one's ready. No, see there's this little fisher there, look, is it? I'll have a flick through these anyway and then see if there is any that's, look, see another crack there, look. If there is any that's actually ready. And if there is, I'll just let them join that glass that I've got. It's got a little dent there. That one's ready. I'm feeling for it on the surface as well, not just looking. That'll work there. Nope, still not ready these. Oh, wait a minute. That one's like, it looks like a Brazil nut, doesn't it? That one is. These little flat bits. Looks like sea glass, that, doesn't it? That's ready. I can feel it. I can feel it. Feel it. What's that one like? Just a little bit rough. That's that grainy stuff, isn't it? Well, not many ready in there, just the one. So I'll put them back in and we'll have another week of that. So I'm going to stick it back on 80 again. We'll keep going until all them little fishes and that have completely gone, because they don't have to detract from the finished product when you see a little flaw in it. It's like looking at a car bonnet that's lovely and shiny, apart from one little dent. It's all you see is a giant dent. So I'm going to get these back in and then we'll have a look at the other ones, which is the sodalite. Right then, so that's our pebbles washed and back in again with the filler material. I'm actually going to put another few rocks in there just to bring that level up a little bit. I mean, these are not going to be ready like that, but not that many. And we're going to put our grit back in. Still on coarse, still on coarse grit. Grit and boraxy morax. So, it's like making a cake. A bit of water. Out there, and we can get that lid back on and away. That's that. So let's have a look at this next one. Now these have been in polish for not quite a week. I think I put them in on Monday, Tuesday. So I'm not expecting them to be done. And I'm doing these in cerium oxide, which is pink. And I'll tell you what, when you spill it, it's a swine to wipe up. The more you wipe it, the more it smears. Here we go, here we go. Come on, baby. Looks like terracotta, look. Now these are ready before the other ones because this is a softer rock. Get a bit more water. So it's ground down quicker, you see, so that's why it's done faster. Aren't they beautiful? Oh, I can feel them, they're as smooth as silk. Zoom in for you. The white bits are plastic beads to stop the, to cushion the stones in the polishing so they're not clonking on each other. That's a nice one. Ooh. Good colour of that. That's a nice one. Oh, good colour that one. Now then, let's have a see. Oh, that's got that glisten in it. Can you see it? If I can catch it on this area. Let's have a see how polished they actually are. Because at the minute, obviously, they're wet, so they're going to look polished regardless. And of course, the object of the exercise here is that we're trying to make these pebbles look wet when they're dry. Well, they're not there yet, but they're certainly coming on. They're coming on, aren't they? Getting there. So in another week in this polish, and we should be right. That's the quartz crystal. Like a piece of glass. Rose quartz. Right, I'll get them back in the polish, and that concludes our looking at all these rocks that we've currently got on. But I've got some more rocks which I'm going to show you in a second, and then I need your assistance to decide what I'm going to put on next. But I'll discuss that when I get back over to my table over here. See you in a sec. Right then, so we've looked at the rocks that's currently in the tumbler. That's the mixed Jasper, mixed quartz, and the which are both on 80 grit, and the sodalite, which is now on polish, which is cerium oxide. It's currently going to be running into its second week in polish, so hopefully next week they're going to be done, and I'll just have to burnish them. I'll just get this a sec. Turn that off for a second. So that's as far as we can go with that yet. I've took some rocks out of the 80 grit that are ready for moving onto the 400 grit, and I've put them in a glass of water just to make sure that they remain wet. So I'll wait until I've got enough rocks in that glass to do a full drum, and then I'll move on to 400 grit with them. So I'm going to show you some of the rocks that I've had in this week, little bits and pieces, as you would imagine. The first thing I want to show you actually is this great big lump here that you can see. Can you see this? This looks like a piece of wood. As you can tell with my arm wobbling, it's actually not wood, it's rock. This is a piece of fossilised wood, and you can actually see the grains and the grain of the wood in it. Can you see? Yeah, I mean you can see that's where a branch came out and stuff like that. Now that's a nice piece to display just in its own right. It was actually purchased, and it was only cheap. This is actually intended for an aquarium, so it's an aquarium rock. But it's perfectly good for what I'm wanting to do. Now what I might do, I'm not sure if I want to do it or not, but I might do, is smash it into bits, and then we'll polish them bits, and you will get to see the actual wood grain in it, which is amazing. I don't know if this particular one will tumble, but having said that, it is extremely hard So it should do, but I've got a smaller piece as well. This is like a chunk off a piece of wood, you see. That's obviously going that way. So that'll have grain in it as well, as you can see on the inside. So I might break that bit up first and try that tumbling instead of destroying this big bit, because that might just look nice as it is. So anyway, that's petrified wood or fossilised wood. And then this next stuff, I'm going to zoom in for this for you because it's worth it. You're going to absolutely love this. This is described as Kalahari picture stone, or I've seen it also described as picture Jasper, but it feels like sandstone, so I don't know. I'm assuming that this is the same material because the pictures in it look the same. What a small piece, I don't know if you remember, I showed you it earlier in the video, a tiny little piece of this found in a mixed batch over there. They've got lovely pictures in them. I mean, you can see why they're called picture stone, can't you? And here's another one here. Interesting, eh? So again, I can break this into chunks and we'll tumble the pieces and we'll get this sort of reticulation pattern going on. Yeah, very good. And the next thing I'm going to show you is, well, we've already seen sodalite, because sodalite is the one that I've got in the polishing at the minute. You've already seen unakite. This is that, oops, it's not focusing on that. This is that nice green with red bits in, which are almost ready. In fact, these were the ones that have taken just 3 weeks in the 80 grit to move on to the next. All of these were ready, so this must be a bit softer than the rest. Now I've also got something here which is a bit interesting. This is iolite. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually get a little glass of water, or a tub of water, so that I can dip it in and show you what colours they are. Because, you know, as they are now, dry, you can't really tell what they are, can you? There we go. So, iolite, otherwise known as water sapphire. Let's get this wet. That's the colour of that one. It's like a grey, inky blue kind of a colour. Sometimes it's clear. This looks translucent, so you can certainly see light through it, but it's not clear like a crystal. So we've got plenty of this to do. I mean, it's a nice, I suppose you would describe that as indigo. Would you describe that as indigo? It looks like a little bit of band-aid in that, I'm not too sure. So that's iolite. There's so many different minerals and colours. I mean, I seem to have taken a particular shine to the blue ones, but blue's always been one of my favourite colours. So that's what the general theme is here, is blue. Speaking of which, we're going to now look now at something that's about as blue as you're going to get, which is lapis. Now everybody must have heard of lapis. Lapis is the rock from Afghanistan, which is blue and white. That's a speckly bit. Beautiful colour. This one's actually got some pyrite crystals on it. See if I can zoom in again. Hopefully you'll be able to see this. Yeah, so you can see the crystals on that. All of that there is pyrite. You can see them glistening there. Look. That whole little stripe through there is pyrite. All that down is gold. Fool's gold. Let me wet it. Now you're not going to see the colour of this until it's actually wet. Now then. Now look at it. Woo! Now the Egyptians used this in their hieroglyphs and whatnot, so when you see blue it's usually this ground into a dust. So it starts off looking quite grey like this. And then comes that lovely blue. Nice, eh? Lapis lazuli. It's been revered for thousands of years. I suppose all of these rocks would have been special and magical at some point in the past, particularly to people like here, not from Afghanistan, because it would appear to be otherworldly, wouldn't it? Right, so the next bit I'm going to show you is this. Let's have a look at this for you. Now, obsidian is another name for volcanic glass. And this is formed when magma rises and it's cooled really quickly and you don't get time to bubble and stuff, and it forms this. It's a shame you can't see just how shiny this is. Get rid of that. You see that? How shiny that is? I'm going to be making you dizzy zooming in and out. Yeah, look at that. This is absolutely jet black with mahogany stripes through it. Bits and pieces through it, look. Come on, there. Lovely stuff. And I bet this polishes up absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it is glass, so it should polish up. Come on, focus. Like glass. There you go. But I have seen where people have done it, and in the final stages, it can clonk together, and because it's glass, it can bruise at the edges. Do you know what I mean? So you might grind it down in the earlier stages, so it's nice and, let's say, smooth. But then in the polishing stages, because the rocks are smooth and they're actually now banging together, if you've not got enough filler in there, it can start to smash the edges again, which is going to be a bit of a shame, so that's something to keep an eye on. Next little bit, I'm going to leave the camera zoomed out. Next little bit I'm going to look at is this. This is the most fabulous colour. It's a delicious sort of mid-grey. Get that again. It's a delicious sort of mid-grey, almost like a shark grey, with these red spots on. And this is called Seftonite. The red is iron oxide, which is obviously basically rusted. That's where the red comes from. Beautiful. These are going to polish up absolutely lovely, aren't they? It's got bits of green in it as well, some green on this. Let me show you what it's like when they're wet. See? It is actually translucent. The grey material is mixed in with grey green material, and parts of it, like this bit here, is really translucent. I can see through it because I can see the other side of this wall. So it's got bits in it. This one's also got some pyrite in it. You see that sparkling? Yeah, it's like glitter. And again, that lovely mixed up kind of pattern. Lovely, isn't it? Again, you've got some more translucent there, and this is. That's going to be stonkingly nice. That piece is almost entirely translucent. More pink than anything. Yeah, so that's Seftonite. It's not a rock that I've seen before, but it's going to be absolutely stunningly polished. You just got to be patient, because you know I've had this tumbler on now for a month or so, or coming up to a month. I'll get zoom back out of it. And we've still not actually got anything that you would call is finished. The sodalite at this end, the blue material, is almost there. We looked at it today, and it was polished, but not polished enough. It's still got that slight dullness to it, and so I put that back into selenium oxide. That's going to run another week, and hopefully then it'll be done. Now next week I've actually got. I should have been here today actually, but they were out of stock. You see, in the same way, if you're a gardener, a greenhouse gardener, that you can never have a greenhouse that's too big, right? There's no such thing as a greenhouse that's too big. It's just your collection's too small. That's what it is. And it's the same with a lot of hobbies and things, isn't it? And it's the same with the tumblers. Now I've got 3 different batches of rocks on there, which have been on for 3 weeks or so. But effectively I'm screwed, aren't I? Because I can't do anything else. No matter how much I don't want, I can't do anything else until they're done. Now for me that drives me absolutely crackers, right, because I want to get cracking with it, because I'm just impatient like everybody else. So I've actually bought myself another one of them, right, bearing in mind that that one is 45-year-old. I bought its modern version equivalent. Same one, it's an Evans CR2 I think it is. Anyway, that's coming this week, so I'll be doing a review on that, or an unboxing and show if you like, of a new version of this machine, and we'll see if it's the same kind of quality. I mean, that's lasted 45 years. I've just turned it on, away she went. I think I've been extremely lucky at that, but it'd be interesting to see what the modern equivalent's like. So I'll do a review on that later in the week. I've also got here. This is some more sodalite. I've also got here some. Well, it's supposed to be serpentine. Now these come from Manchester Minerals, and I'm not saying it's not serpentine. No, I haven't even opened the bag yet. But the first thing that struck me with this is the size of the pieces. It's almost gravel. I think I'm going to have a little quick word, because I don't think this is. I don't think it's really very big for tumbling, is it? It's a bit. I mean, I'm going to end up with out left. I suppose your average size here is that kind of size. How big is that? That's your average size. So it's a bit small. We'll take them all out. Now they just look like grey rocks. That's the size of them. But now look, we've got a lovely green colour. Some translucency, some solid. Same one here that's quite translucent looking. That's a little chunk where it's got a crack through it. So yeah, I think they're a bit small, these, well, I won't say they're too small for tumbling, but I'm going to end up with tiny little bits left, aren't I? Because I think it's pretty hard stone, so it's going to have to tumble quite a bit. So yeah, that's the first bag that I've not been 100% happy with, because I've had a lot of stuff off them. But I'll send her a photo of them and see what she has to say, see if it's, because that's the normal size of rough rocks, like the one we've been looking at. This is almost decorative gravel. So anyway, like I said, I've got that tumbler coming, and now on the next tumbler, what I'm going to do is, instead of having like two £2 or two £3 or a £3 and two 1.5s, I'm going to have four 1.5s, so I can have 4 different things on go at once. And the tumbler that I bought is only an intermediary step, because don't forget, we've got all the kitchen materials here now, so I'll be building that up next week, turning the kitchen into the rock room. Now I've already got a lot of the components for the homemade large tumbler, you know, the big greenhouse scenario. Well, I've got a big electric motor, I've got the shafts and things and the bearings and stuff like that. What I'm having difficulty with is the pulley wheel at this end in the right size to make the speed right. You know what I mean? Because you've got to use different size pulleys and whatnot. So I'm having to get them made, because there's nobody got any of these standard sizes. So it's taking a bit longer than I would have liked. But that's going to end up in there as well at some point. Now that's a yard long. You know, it's a yard. So I don't know how many things are going on. It's just that I bought a yard worth of steel. And I've used stainless steel rods. And I've got some plastic shrink rubber to go over the top of it for so it grips it a bit better. So yeah, it's going to be good fun that when I get going. But I've got to get the kitchen built first, or the work surfaces and that, so we can put stuff on it, because it's, you know, it's literally, it's everywhere around here. The minute I took over the coffee shop. Let me have a slurp in my coffee. Now then, there's one thing that's definitely going to be going in to the next batch, and that's this. I got this off Barry from SB Rocks. Barry Sidebottom, I think it is. And this is that blue laced agate. Barry is finishing this year doing rocks, so if you wanted any rocks, he has got stuff still available if you want to nip over. SB Rocks, I think it is. So that one is going to go in, because I think that banding is absolutely beautiful. So that's going to be going into the barrel. I don't know if it's a bit too big, but well, it's going in anyway. It might just take several weeks to actually get down to it. But when that's polished, that's going to be my baby. Because I think it's a stunning colour. It's almost like a pale Wedgwood blue and white, but I just particularly like the way that the bands at the top of that are like wavy up and down. See, they're not just straight lines; they're wavy. Special. Unikite we've seen. So yeah, anyway, in the comments of this video, leave your suggestions as to which rocks I put on in the next batch. I don't really want to be mixing stuff. I mean, I can mix stuff, but I would prefer to do a full tumble of X and a full tumble of Y, rather than the mixed ones that we've got. You know, because they're going to wear down at the same kind of speed, which is important when we start moving them on to the next levels. Like all these Unikite will probably all wear down at the same speed, but if I mix some of that in with this obsidian, this is going to be chipping at this and also, so because this is really hard. That I can't wait to do. I can't wait to do that Lapis either. Ooh. Ooh. I took out some weird stuff as well this way. Off eBay I got these. This is bits of, I thought, well, for the sake of a tenner I might as well have a little punt. But these are bits of petrified wood that somebody's collected on some seashore or river shore or bank or whatever. And you can see they're actually bits of wood. Can you hear them? Now the thing with that is it sounds metallic. Can you hear it? Metallic. And I can smell rust. on my fingers I can smell it. It's like a really strong rust smell. Now the reason is, it's because these are pyritized wood. Pyrite, not pirate, pyritized. Which means that the material's been replaced by iron pyrite. And that's why I can smell rust and they sound like nails. And so this won't tumble because it will just disintegrate. Now this piece here, this is interesting. So some of these are really interesting in their own rights because, I mean, I don't know how many millions of years old this is, but it's certainly going to be millions of years old. And this is clearly just a little twig. There we go. This is going to be good fun trying to line this bugger up. Come on. Come on, baby. You can do it. You can do it. There we go. Look. That is a little twig. And you can see the bark on it at the top. You see this at the top here? That's bark. And then you can see a section there where it's been removed. Just look at that and look. You can see the outer bark and the inner wood. Isn't that amazing? Come on. So yeah, these are going to be crap for tumbling because they'll just disintegrate. But they're very, very interesting nonetheless, and certainly worth. Look at this, another little knobbly stick. So I'll put these in when we get to be reopened. I'll put these in shops. So if anybody's interested in this kind of thing, I'll let people take one. You know, teachers or to teach your kids. It's a gnarly looking bit. Cool. Yeah, it's a pity it won't tumble, but such is life. As opposed to this doesn't seem to be the same material. This is not. It just it feels more like marble. So hopefully that will tumble. But we'll try it anyway. Zoom back out. Right, I've got another bit of equipment coming. I got one last week, but it arrived damaged, so I've had to get a replacement. And you know, some of these rocks you might think, oh, they might be a bit big. Like, I don't know, this one for example. Oh, that's a nice one, isn't it? So let's say I wanted to chop that off. I'm either going to hit it with a hammer, you know, to round it out. I'm either going to hit it with a hammer or I'm going to saw it. So I bought a tile saw. A diamond tile saw. So we can slice bits off and cut pebbles and things in half to get to see what's inside them. So that's going to be good fun. That's going Monday, I think. This is my new hobby, if you've worked out. Now I know I do a lot of hobbies. I've got a ridiculous amount of hobbies, but being fair, how many of them do I actually do? And that's because I'm at work all the time, isn't it? Well, I'm fortunate in that I work here, so when we reopen, I'll have my hobby at work, which means I'll be able to focus far more effort on it. You know, because when you get home, you've had a day, and I work usually, apart from this lockdown period that we're in, usually I work 7 days, so I never get time to do anything. I enjoy it, like it's not a complaint. It's just that's just a fact of life. Yeah, turn that up again. Yeah, I think I've shown you it all now. I think that's about it. So you'll believe that in the comments, apart from this, which is going to be going in anyway, which of these rocks you want me to tumble. Personally, I would like to see this Seftonite going in. This is that grey, green kind of a colour, like a shark colour with red spots in. Beautiful. I've seen that colour combination before on a company logo, I can't think what it is. Anyway, I'd like to see that one going in. Lapis, if you're fancying, oh, pardon me, some of that. Some of this obsidian, this mahogany obsidian. Some of this picture stone, We can break this into chunks. I think that might be a bit too big to tumble in this kind of machine. But I can certainly either chop it in half or saw it in half or crunk it in half. Yeah, that's about it really. Hope you've enjoyed this video, or you're keeping abreast with what we're doing here. And subscribe to the channel, because this is a hobby that really in England it's died out to a great extent, which is a great shame. Used to be a big thing, this. And in America, when you look at American, they've got such a wonderful array of tools and things available to them. Different tumblers and different types of tumblers. Oh, that's another one I've got. I've got a vibratory tumbler coming. That's for polishing, just for polishing. That's not going to be for weeks though. So yeah, it's in America it's big hobby, and quite rightly so. Not only does it get you out, because a lot of these rocks I'm currently buying because I'm not able to walk very far anyway if I wanted to go. But equally, if I were, I'd be on beaches and stuff looking, because you can find places where there's been mines and pits and all this kind of stuff. You can get all this for free. Well, not all of it, but a lot of it you can get it for free. You can just pick it up. So yeah, anyway, I'm enjoying it. That's it. Right, I'm going to have one quick slurp. Think of see if there's anything else while I've got a quick think. No, I haven't got anything else that I can think of. Nope, that's it, I'm done. Right, so I shall see you later in the week when I upload a video for the rock cutter, and also a video for the Evans CR2 tumbler, and when I get it, the vibratory tumbler, which is just for polishing, because they don't knock. You know, the idea is that with these, and as it's rolling, they're going like this onto each other, and in the earlier stages that's what you want, because they're grinding each other. But in the latter stages you don't want that, so the vibratory tumbler vibrates, so they don't actually knock, they rub, so there is no knocking on each other. Ooh, knocking rocks. Right, well, I'm going to love you and leave you, and I shall see you in the next video. Adios.